Camera Club. The other night we had the portfolio as an assignment. There's a bit of a yarn involved in this, and that is that I was recently hospitalised for an operation, and I came out of the anaesthetic and got moved out of the recovery ward and then up into Ward 55, sorry, not Ward 55, Bed 55 in Wallis ward. And so what then happened was, one day, sort of like about day 2 out of the anaesthetic, I looked across at the over the gap, and there was another series of hospital wards immediately opposite, about 50-60 metres away, and there was a garden that was growing up and blah 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 blah. And I looked across in the windows, and you couldn't see through the windows, and I thought, oh geez, I wonder if the people in those rooms over there are experiencing the same sort of misery that I was going through. I was recovering from a prostate removal and a catheter and the whole bit, you know, feeling pretty lousy. And Ed Kienholz's work, State Hospital, came to mind. Now, if you're not aware of State Hospital, it's essentially it's a pair of replicated dummies sleeping on identical double bunks, and so there's one above the other, and they're chained to the bed. There's a bedpan down on the floor which is completely out of reach because they're chained to the bed, and the body on the bottom has a thought bubble, if you like, coming out of its head that actually surrounds the body in the bunk above it. And so, as Robert Hughes says in his discussion about this work, he says, and so the patient below dreams of the exact same misery as the patient above. And that sort of struck me when I looked out across the windows, and I thought, oh wow, because I'd actually gone into hospital, I'd taken the AW100 just in case there was something that I wanted to photograph in there, but with no specific outcome in mind. And then I sort of thought to myself, ooh, okay. And that actually started because I was aware of the Kienholz work. It started a series of works coming out, and what I did was I got my x-rays and I stuck them up on the window, looking out to the outside world through the window. And so for Camera Club, I sort of thought to myself, we've got portfolio as an assignment. I'll stick together these books as these photographs as a portfolio, and I'll call it Old 55 after the Tom Waits song Old 55, which you can hopefully hear in the background. And so I then photographed my lungs, the x-rays of my lungs, in varying positions and one thing and another, with varying configurations. And so, you know, hopefully you can see these, because I printed these on overhead transparency, and I put a white piece of paper behind them to push the image out so you can actually see the image. This is a bit different to the nude book that I did a while back, where the transparencies were all piled one on top of the other so that the nude was actually hidden. But the idea was that you could see the rooms opposite through my lungs. And so also, obviously, with my lungs and the outside world, you know, the whole notion of breathing, oxygenation and all that kind of stuff comes in. And so I've got these plants here growing outside the window, and so I've pushed them up into my lungs by simply putting the x-ray a little bit lower down in the window. And so I built this series up right throughout, and for Camera Club I thought, right, well, I'll put these into a book, and here they are. I may actually put some images up, some still images up, just as backup. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, I'll pop these up and put them in as a portfolio. And so you can see here, and this is actually in Ward 32, which I was moved into later. And in Ward 32, I had a really lousy view. I had an air conditioning vent and a corrugated iron roof, and then about 10 metres away or 5 metres away, another set of hospital beds through the windows. And here we are with a sunset playing through on the windows on the in old Ward 55, like I say, Old 55. And so Bed 55 was a really lovely room. It was quite nice and big. I could move around in it, and I sort of stuck a whole lot of stuff up on the windows and around the room so that it actually, you know, became my studio for the period of time that I was in there. Ward 32 was a lot smaller and a lot more restrictive and equally miserable. However, nothing came from it. Well, a few shots came from it, and that's about it. So that's it. That's the book, which was called Back to My Old 55, which I submitted to the Camera Club competition recently. And yeah, got a second or a third, I can't remember. But anyway, that will be revealed in the fine-tuning on the Muscle Book and Districts Camera Club Facebook page. So again, thank you for listening, and think about it. Artist books, there is no limit. There is no limit. You can produce your artist books out of whatever you need to do to get your objective. Thank you.
Well, my time went so quickly, I went lickety-splickly out to my old 55. As I pulled away slowly, feeling so holy, God knows I was feeling alive. Now the sun's coming up, I'm riding with Lady Love. Freeway cars and trucks, stars beginning to fade, and I lead the parade.